Dr. Sujit Bhattacharya, Dean, Policy Research, CSIR NIScPR. Mr. Agnij Moitra, student from Birla Vidya Niketan School, who is the winner of CSIR Innovation Award. Special invitees from CSIR, DSIR, CSIR headquarters, and other CSIR labs, seniors, faculty members, and colleagues of CSIR NIScPR, young innovators and entrepreneurs who are attending the workshop online and offline. A very good morning and warm welcome to the National Workshop on IP and Youth, Innovating for a Better Future, organized by CSIR NIScPR on the occasion of World Intellectual Property Day. World Intellectual Property Day is celebrated on 26th April every year to strengthen the role that the intellectual property rights play in encouraging innovation and creativity. The theme of this year's World IP Day is IP and Youth, Innovating for a Better Future. This theme focuses on recognizing and harnessing the potential of young people to find new and better solutions that support the transition to a sustainable future. World IP Day 2022 is an opportunity for young innovators and entrepreneurs to find out how IP rights can support their goals, help transform their ideas into reality, generate income, create jobs, and thereby aid in the development of a nation. CSIR National Institute of Science, Communication and Policy Research came into existence with effect from April 2021 with the merger of erstwhile NIScPR and NIScPR's. Together, we have a legacy of more than a century in the areas of science, technology and innovation, communication and policy research. CSIR NIScPR has been a pioneer institute in providing policy inputs for IP development and promoting innovation and diffusion of technologies by connecting through various stakeholders and supporting the student community through various outreach programs. Through our research journals, popular science magazines, and books in various disciplines of science and technology, a strong research network is established. You will be glad to know that two of our journals, Journal of Scientific and Industrial Research and Journal of Intellectual Property Rights, are dedicated to industrial research and intellectual property rights. The National Workshop on IP and Youth, Innovating for a Better Future, is an interactive platform for collaborative learning among various stakeholders working in innovation ecosystem that includes IPR. The workshop is a step towards strengthening the ways to nurture and harness innovative ideas and motivate young minds to achieve the goals for sustainable global development. With these words, I now request the esteemed dignitaries to inaugurate the workshop by lighting this lamp of knowledge. Dr. Gupta. Good morning, sir. Dr. Gupta. Namaskar, sir. Good morning. Dr. Gupta.
नमस्कार
नमस्ते.
नमस्कार।
तो आपको हम मिस कर रहे हैं, लेकिन हम दीप प्रज्वलन कर रहे हैं आपकी आगे से।
बिल्कुल 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 मैं आपके साथ।
I request our director, Professor Anjana Agarwal, to felicitate our chief guest, Professor Anil Kumar Gupta, who is with us online today.
Yeah, please.
May I request Ms. Meenakshi and Ms. Shubda to help in felicitation. Just on.
Sir, please accept our felicitations, sir. You're most welcome, sir.
Thank
And
you.
we are really honored.
Thank you. Thank you, Ranjana. Thank you. Appreciate it. Much, much appreciated. ये गौतम बुद्ध का है क्या? Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you.
I request Dr. Sujit Bhattacharya, Dean Policy Research, CSIR NIScPR, to felicitate our guest of honor, Dr. Sameer Kumar Swarup, with a shawl, memento, and a plant. I request Professor Ranjana Agarwal to felicitate the student, Mr. Agnij Moitra, CSIR Innovation Awardee, with a plant. So now we have welcome address by our director, Professor Ranjana Agarwal. Before, I will give a short introduction about our director. Professor Ranjana Agarwal is the founder director of CSIR National Institute of Science, Communication and Policy Research. Professor Ranjana Agarwal is a renowned chemist from Kurukshetra University, where she served as Professor of Chemistry and Director, Women's Studies Center. Notably Commonwealth Fellowship by the Association of Commonwealth Universities, UK, Dr. Basudev Banerjee Memorial Award by Indian Chemical Society, Professor S.S. Katiyar Endowment Award by Indian Science Congress and President, Chemical Sciences Section, Indian Science Congress in 2020, and many more. As an accomplished academician, she has been nominated as member of National Monitoring Committee for Minorities Education by MHRD New Delhi. Under her mentorship, CSIR NIScPR is undertaking evidence-based STI policy studies and science communication initiatives of national relevance. With this brief, I now request Professor Ranjana Agarwal, Director CSIR NIScPR, to deliver welcome address.
Thank you very much, Sandhya. A very good morning to one and all. Honorable Professor Anil Gupta, Padma Shri, founder Honeybee Network, Srishti Gyan National Innovation Foundation. He is chief guest of today's function, Dr. Sameer Kumar Swarup, Deputy Controller of Patents Policy Vertical, distinguished guests from headquarter, Dr. Sarla Balachandran, Head RAB, my dear Agnij Moitra, he is National Awardee, Innovation Awardee, who is with us. He is from Birla School, Birla Vidya Niketan School from Delhi. Principals, teachers, dear students who have come from all parts of Delhi. Extend a very warm welcome from my own side and from the institution, National Institution of Science, Communication and Policy Research. Today we have gathered in this hall to celebrate International Patent Day, which was declared in 2000 by WIPO as 26th April. So we are celebrating this day. And we are very fortunate that we have with us Professor Anil Kumar Gupta, who is, synonym to innovation. And how he promotes innovation, I call him true Karam Yogi. Because whatever he says, that's what he does. The foundation of Honeybee Network, Srishti Gyan National Innovation Foundation, and how he has nurtured grassroots innovators and innovations, bringing them to the international platform. I truly believe that he connected science and society in the true sense. And we are very fortunate that today we have him with us it would have been wonderful if he had joined us here in this hall. I believe his presence here would have created a positive energy in all our students. Nevertheless, he is joining us online, and I know his aura is so wide that his positivity is reaching to all of us present in this hall. So a very warm welcome to Dr. Anil Gupta. Dr. Kumar Swaroop, who is in the Patents and Design Office with Government of India for the last 20 years, expert of IP with us as guest of honor, and he will be guiding the young innovators present in the hall and joining us online. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Before I come to IP Day and about today's celebration, I would like to brief our students about CSIR NIScPR institution. Dr. Sandhya has given a brief. Last year, we came into existence with this nomenclature, National Institute of Science, Communication and Policy Research. But I would like to tell you that there were two institutes of CSIR. One was National Institute of Science, Technology and Development Studies, which was into policy research and connecting science and society, how to disseminate technologies, how to evaluate socio-economic impact analysis, etc. And also CSIR NIScPR, National Institute of Science, Communication and Information Resources, with the mandate to communicate science, disseminate science, and build scientific temper. So these two institutions have been merged last year, and now we are moving with a new mandate of communicating science and policy together. Because communication and policy go hand in hand, bringing synergy into communication and policy. So in this regard, this institute is new, but the legacy is very high. The students who are joining us today will get to know from the experts like Professor Anil Gupta, Dr. Swaroop, Dr. Sujit Bhattacharya, Vipin, Dr. Kanika Malik. Outside, we have displayed all our knowledge products. I request all the that what kind of knowledge products we have and how these students can be benefited from these publications. When it came to celebrating this day, 26th April, we thought because the topic this year is IP and youth innovating for a better future. So it's very essential that we integrate our young scientists, budding innovators, to bring them in our campus and give them an opportunity to interact with experts. And that's how Dr. Kanika Malik, who is coordinator of this event, planned this activity in such a way that we can bring those innovators who have already been acknowledged by CSIR and those who are in the pipeline. We are expecting the other students who are joining us in the coming years, they will also be getting the innovation awards. So all these innovators come on the common platform and share their ideas, motivate each other, inspire each other, and a good culture of innovation start in the country. To be students, I would like to say that the coming Azadi Ka Amrit Kal, which we are saying like 2047, because this year we are celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. In 25 years, India, we are looking India as a vision. And our young population, I think we can do it. We have to look at the areas where India can take the lead, not only at national level, but also at the international level. So some of the areas will not go. Innovation has helped us to overcome the issues, the challenges which emerged in emergency and how we responded, how innovations, how public-private sector come together, and how we were able to develop vaccine in a record time, medicines in the record time, other assistive technologies in the record time. Similarly, digital technologies. COVID changed the way we work, we travel, we communicate, we entertain ourselves. So everything was changed, and their digital information played a very, very important role. And after COVID also, post-pandemic period, we don't know how it's going to be the new normal. So digital transformations are going to be a big opportunity for the young innovators to look into, because if you look at the 5-year data, the most patents have been done in the digital technologies if we compare with other fields. So our students, climate change we are all talking about, which again integrates so many technologies and so many new ideas to be poured in, so that we come to a stage where we are, carbon neutral. Most importantly, leveraging our traditional knowledge, because it's very important we use our traditional knowledge to develop new innovations, to create new innovations, so that a sustainable development goal can be achieved. So the area is wide, the field is open for our innovators, and the ecosystem, the support from government, support from your institutions is now is more if you compare it in the previous years. So in this today's workshop, our students will be getting exposure to learn from the experts, and also be frank, because it's a workshop. Effectiveness is very important, because that is the key to innovation. So I wish you all a very pleasant stay in this half-day workshop. You interact with the experts and get your queries cleared. How do you get the support? Dr. Swaroop is here from IP office, so you can ask him. Dr. Anil Gupta is here. He is the best person to interact with, particularly with the students. He is so happy to answer the queries. So with these few words, once again, I welcome you all and wish you a very happy stay in the campus. So roam around. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your motivation and vision for 2047. Today, we have our guest of honor, Dr. Samir Kumar Swaroop, who is working as the Deputy Controller of Patents and Designs at the Intellectual Property Office, Dwarka, New Delhi. He joined the Patent Office in year 2002 as Examiner of Patents and Designs. Presently, he is posted in the IT division of the Indian Patent Office, Delhi, and his current assignment includes looking after the e-filing of the patents and designs applications and electronic workflow of the processing of patent and designs applications. Before joining the Patent Office in 2002, he was associated with DRDO in Laser Science Center at Delhi in the area of high-power lasers. He graduated in mechanical engineering from AMU Aligarh and also did LLM in business law from Kurukshetra University. With these words, I now request Dr. Samir Kumar Swaroop, guest of honor, to address the gathering.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Honorable Professor Gupta Sahab, Professor Ranjana Agarwal, ma'am, Director, Dr. Kanika Malik, ma'am, Dr. Sujit Acharya ji, and distinguished guests and my budding innovators here. So it's really a pleasure. Intellectual Property Day. So as we are all aware, the World IP Day is celebrated across the world on 26th of April with the aim to learn about IP and also make aware the others about the role of the IP in encouraging innovation and the inventions. So it's a day to recognize innovation and the role of inventors and innovators in the development of society across the world. Every day, innovators are coming up with new and new creative ideas that are astonishing and lead towards a better future by solving the problems. As Madam just now said, the COVID scenario showed us many things. And you'll be surprised to know that the number of inventions that were filed during the COVID period were, way ahead than that was filed in the comparison to the previous years. So that means creativity is not, stopped, or it's rather get increased even when there is a constraint. So whenever you are constrained to a limit, you think of something else and come out with the inventions. And this time, the theme of the World IP Day is the IP and youth innovating for a better future. And the theme is aptly celebrates the creativity and innovation by the youth. The youth of today is full of ideas. They are energetic, curious, and capable of transforming their ideas into a reality. And this is a very big thing because, as we were just discussing prior to this meeting, as you study, as you go higher, as you learn so many things, the creativity part just diminishes. So whenever you have an idea, you'll say, okay, maybe it will work or not work. You may find it difficult to express it to others, thinking that you'll say, what a foolish idea you are having. So at this stage, when you are young and you have vague ideas, and then you can understand, if it works or not, that's a different thing. But it should come. You should be very, curious to know certain things and do certain things. So I was just there in some organization where, and I'll suggest to the educational institutes also to perform this activity. So in a classroom, they divided the group of students into four particular groups and asked them to think about anything what they can think about. So they came out with some ideas. Some were very bad, some were very good, some were very vague. They never thought of whether this can mature into something or like that. But later on, when these ideas were collected and then a search was carried out, some of those ideas were already, filed for a patent, or the patent was there. So you can understand the creativity of the mind, what they can think. They were not aware of anything about patents or something like IPR, but they came out with an idea, and that idea was there. Okay, so what I mean to say here is that you should be very curious, and this curiosity actually brings out more and more innovations. So the millennials, as they say, I was just reading somewhere, or the generations that as youth is said sometimes, they're full of energy and the ability to think out of the box and have wild ideas. So once they have any idea, they are capable of transforming it into reality or the inventions. And innovation requires such zeal, actually. So you need to have such passion for creation of something, and the young generations are having it in them. You may be looking at the number of apps that have come up during the COVID period, the number of startups that have been formed during this period, and not formed. They are actually excelling. They excel. They are coming up with very good income-wise, job creation-wise, everything is there. And while browsing through the program brochure that Madam circulated, I was amazed to see the innovation, the ideas that were, carried out by the budding innovators. And I'm sure we'll be learning a lot more from them, how they came up with the idea and how they are going to, protect it and carry forward with this idea. Now, I'll just come to some statistics. According to WIPO, there are around 1.8 billion people who are aged around 24 years. And imagine, I'm just trying to think what these curious and creative minds can bring to the world if they are properly guided to, all these things. So on one hand, we have a sea of such young creative innovators that are coming up with the amazing innovations and inventions. And on the other hand, we need to make them aware of the IP rights, because simply creating an innovation moving forward, start solving certain problems, and then you recognize that, okay, there is an IP associated with it. And once you protect that IP and try to commercialize that, then only the complete ecosystem works. So the government also in this field implemented the national IPR policy in 2016, as you must be aware, with an aim to create awareness about the IPR in multiple areas. And continuing with this, the Honorable Minister Intellectual Property Awareness Mission. So I'm sure many of these schools must have had a visit from our office for this National Intellectual Property Awareness Mission. And it's so basically for generating the IP awareness about among the young people. And the target was 1 million students to be made aware about the intellectual property and their associated rights. And I'm happy to share with you that the IP office has conducted around 2,500, more than 2,500 programs in the universities, colleges, and the institutions across India. And around 6.5 lakh students have already been made aware about the IP rights. So it's a big opportunity. If the school has not received any intimation, may I request all the heads to kindly let me know or contact our website for organizing such programs in your school. And as a result of this awareness program that the government is carrying out across these year and through this NIPAM and other awareness programs, this has basically the total filing by the Indian applicants has surpassed the filing of the international applications. So this has happened after a period of 11 years. And the impact is that earlier what used to happen is there were more number of filings by the external agencies like foreign applicants filing in India, and there were very less applications that were being filed by the Indian applicants. But now, because of these awareness programs and programs conducted by CSIR and other organizations to make the people aware about the IP rights, we have seen that now more and more Indian applications are being filed. And this is a very good indicator, because the more the number of applications from the resident of a particular country, the economy is going to rise definitely. So without taking much of your time, I'd like to congratulate all of you for organizing this wonderful program. And I'm sure that the upcoming sessions also will be very helpful for me as well as for you. And I'm here throughout the day, throughout the program. And if you have any queries about filing of the applications, how they are to be filed, how they are to be protected, I'm always here to help you. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, sir, for your informative and insightful words. Today we have our chief guest, Professor Anil Kumar Gupta, online. Professor Anil Kumar Gupta has been a professor in Center for Management in Agriculture, Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad since 1981. He held various positions in Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, including chairperson Innovation and Kasturibai Lalbai Chair in Entrepreneurship. Professor Gupta is the coordinator of Society for Research and Initiative Honeybee Network. He held an executive vice chair at the National Innovation Foundation, where he is a member of its governing board now. He is also a fellow of the World Academy of Art and Science. He was awarded the prestigious Padma Shri in 2004 for his contributions to management education. And he is also the recipient of Science in Society Award, Asian Innovation Award Gold, and Pew Conservation Scholar Award. Professor Gupta is seen as a pioneer in the field of grassroots innovations, in which his contributions includes documenting people's knowledge with the help of teams of volunteers spread across India. He helps grassroots innovators and communities build on their knowledge systems by providing help in filing patents, promoting scientific validation of these innovations by involving government scientific institutes and private individuals and bodies, and facilitating tie-ups with entrepreneurs and industrial groups. Professor Gupta wrote the book Grassroots Innovation, Minds on the Margin or Not Marginal Minds in 2016, which is a compilation of his empirical research carried out through the Shod Yatras on ingenious solutions and innovations crafted by common individuals targeting local problems faced by local communities. With this brief introduction, I request our chief guest, Professor Anil Kumar Gupta, founder Honeybee Network, Srishti, Gyan and NIF, to address the gathering.
Good morning, friends. I'm so happy that the stage has been set very well by Ranjana and Sameer, both in a very evocative manner about why this day is so important and how our youth, the young innovators and entrepreneurs, to take our country forward and to create public goods as much. There's a very close relationship between open source and intellectual property, and I will try to show how during COVID-19, if it was not for the open knowledge and open innovation, we wouldn't have managed to survive. So intellectual property is very critical for generating entrepreneurial opportunities, economic entrepreneurial opportunities, but equally important are social innovations which generate social enterprises. So please keep in mind a very broad opportunity spectrum that you have. You can be a social innovator, you can be an economic entrepreneur, you can be an inventor and tie up with somebody else. And I will show how we can do all of this through the experience of NIB network, which was set up 35 years ago to give voice, visibility, and velocity. I'll take about 15 minutes to give you a very quick overview of why IP can be a powerful tool for all of us to make an impact. But please appreciate that I will leave some time for questions, but if you wish to write to me, you are always welcome to send me a mail at anilg@gian.org or at anilg@ima.ac.in. Now, what this network was trying to do, it was giving voice, it is giving voice, visibility, and velocity. Voice, visibility, and velocity. So if you have, I'm so happy to see on the dais an inventor who has been recognized by CSIR. How many functions did I go to where I have found such a wonderful recognition to a young mind sitting on the dais for the celebration of IP and Youth Day today. So Ranjana, congratulations to you and your team for creating a new benchmark in recognition of young minds of our country. Mr. Agnish Moitra, I would also like to know a little more about your idea later, maybe in brief, so that I would get educated about what brought you this honor, but you are in that sense a role model. And to give voice, visibility, and velocity to your idea, this is exactly what NIScPR is trying to do, and I'm very happy that they have done this in such a graceful manner. Now, please look at this picture which my colleague Anamika took, and I'm very fond of this picture and never get tired of explaining how what the seed of IP, how the seed of creativity and innovation is born. So you see these 4 ducks are moving in one direction, but this one is the one who's breaking the trend, and I'm interested in this one. So inventors and innovators see the same world, same situation, same constraints, same society, same markets, and yet they're able to see an opportunity which makes them to depart from the trend. So my dear friends, all of you have to have an eye for oddity, an unmet need, a pain of someone which has remained subdued for a long time, and you will then identify and try to address it. You're around all you're in your own family, your parents, your grandparents, and I'll show you some examples of that kind. So look for an oddity and briefly capturing the conceptual space that provides you the opportunity to look for new solutions. So you have 4 dimensions here: material, method, application, and delivery system. Old, new, old, new, old, new, old, new. One of the 4 should be new. And I will begin with the last one. Uber didn't invent hiring of taxi. Taxi hiring existed. Taxis existed, hiring system existed. Payment online existed. Booking online existed. What did they do? They aggregated and developed a new delivery system where private taxi owners could join a platform and get new opportunities. That was a delivery system innovation. It was not new material. It was an old method, old material, old application, but a new way of delivering service. So you can have innovations in delivery. And as was mentioned, fortunately or unfortunately, all the unicorn that we have had in the last few years are in services space. There are very few in the manufacturing space. And this is a challenge to all of you, that we also want our innovators to come out with manufacturing technologies that create a huge new segments of service and product and services to the society. Now, so if this is clear, let's go further and offer you a small story. You know, this is a Gandhian hack about a particular problem. Many of you must be doing hacking. And you know what Gandhi did? He tried in 1920 to improve the design of this spinning wheel. चरखा जो था ना, उनको बहुत तकलीफ देता था. उन्होंने विनोबा भावे से पूछा, इस चरखे से कितनी आमदनी होती है? तो उन्होंने बोला, सर मुश्किल से 1 आना होगी पूरे दिन के अंदर. बोले, इससे तो गरीबी दूर नहीं होगी. So we have to improve the design of this spinning wheel. अब उन्होंने 1920 में शुरू किया. Till 1929 he was frustrated and was not getting any answer. बहुत frustrated हुए. मगनलाल गांधी को बोला 5000 का अवार्ड दो, 5000 से बात नहीं बनी. फिर उन्होंने बोला 20000 का दो, कुछ नहीं बात बनी. Finally he said, okay, let us announce an award of 7,700 pounds. And I very much wish, Samir and Ranjana, that we should encourage every district collector, every district, Ranjana, this could be a campaign where we should work together to make every district collector identify the unmet need and issue district-based challenges. So there are 650,000 villages, 700 districts. Imagine if every year there are 700 challenges of unmet need of that region is announced and an award is given for that. You remember we had developed a district innovation fund long time ago during the 13th Finance Commission. Maybe that idea can be revived and used to challenge the youth to come out with solutions. So when he announced this award, at that time 1 lakh, today its value will be about 10 crore. This is what came out. In 1931, when he went to Yarwada jail, he had already been using this spinning wheel. It was low cost, it was portable, it was easy to maintain. All the conditions, boundary conditions that he had announced in the competition were met by this. Challenges can do a great job. And mind you, it was not that our capability, for millennia, this inertia was existing. Given the challenge, youth rose to the occasion and solved this problem. Another driver of innovation, one is challenge, another is samvedana. You know, we have a lot of knowledge. Knowledge is expanding. All of you go to internet to find information. You can't feel about all the things that you know, but you feel about something. But very few of those feelings convert into action. This is the challenge. How can IP Day motivate you to convert more of your feelings of uneasiness, feelings of being disturbed about certain problem not being done well, solved for well, the inefficiency that is existing around us? For instance, to give you an example, 2 students from Tamil Nadu sent this idea that, you know, in DTC buses, you must have seen sometimes the drivers are driving it fast and they don't even allow the passengers to either board properly or get down properly, and accidents take place. So this kid said, you have a visible light sensor on the staircase. If anybody is standing on the staircase, the vehicle should not move. Simple. Now imagine if a public policy, and mind you, this kid is driving the public policy of public transport of this country. By giving this idea, they are saying, please get installed in every state bus or every transport. I don't want a single child of our country or a woman or an elderly person to be injured, because sometimes mother is carrying a child in her hand and she's holding the rod with one hand. How would she stabilize herself when the bus immediately starts before she has taken the seat or boarded the bus properly? So mind you, there are problems all around us, and we are living with them. From today, I'm charging you all not to live with the problems unsolved indefinitely. This is a promise you have to make to yourself. And I think this seminar by NIScPR would succeed in its mission if you all decided not to live with the problem. So samvedana is a beautiful word. Samvedana means when somebody is difficulty, that difficulty of the person who fell down from bus, difficulty of the person who's not wearing helmet when he's driving. 4 girls, Bano and others from Tamil Nadu again gave an idea that if you don't wear helmet, the motorcycle will not start. And I have got a fabrication, we got a prototype made, and that was showcased at the Rashtrapati Bhavan during the Festival of Innovation. So samvedana se sarjanshilta, through swanta hai sukha hai, for my own happiness. मैं किसी पे एहसान नहीं कर रहा हूं अगर मैं कोई इनोवेशन कर रहा हूं भाई. Please understand that. You are not a great hero because you are solved. अरे भाई आपने अपनी तकलीफ को कम किया है. You were troubled by that pain of someone in society, maybe of your elders, maybe of your mother, maybe somebody else around you. But so we should have this feeling that I'm trying to do what I'm meant for. Each one of us is meant to solve at least one problem uniquely. We have to find out which one. So we will develop frugal innovation, we'll develop inclusive innovation, we will develop circular innovation and make them accessible, affordable and available. Now this is just a small chart to give you what Honeybee Network and NIF till 21, they filed more than 1183. And now I'm finding that patent office is granting them much more vigorously. So now, while 200 were granted till 21, but 222, I'm told that many more have been granted. Design, plant variety protection, all of these have been supported. Mind you, all these patents are in the name of inventor. No staff of NIF or Honeybee Network or Srishti or Gyan has any authorship on these inventions. Though we filed the patent, we have drafted them. And mind you, one of the major factors for this was pro bono help of attorneys and engineer. Ranjana, I can help you to mobilize patent attorneys who will not charge for their time for these kids. They will be willing to file it pro bono. There are so many who file all these patents. The attorney did not charge for their time because they said, sir, you are contributing for nation building. We will also contribute. And that's the spirit of this approach. And I'm so happy that the Deputy Controller is here. With his support, we can create a fast track for the young people. I think we should think about, Samir, a fast track for children, fast track for young people, so that they can be encouraged. You know, sometimes it takes longer time, as you all know, because of this shortage of staff and other reason. Then these children get disheartened. Oh, I applied and it does not come out. But I can tell you that things are improving very rapidly now. This is a example I'm never tired of telling. You know, Shalini at that time in class 8, many of you must be in class 8 or 9 or 10. She saw a problem of her grandfather who was not able to use walker on a staircase. And she sent just 2 lines. Can front leg be adjustable? She didn't make anything, mind you. She didn't make anything. Our team made everything. Rakesh, Mahesh, and others in Gyan and under the guidance of Vipin made this walker, which would have shorter legs when they climb and longer when they come down. My wife had a problem, so I had a problem. It didn't occur to me. With all my sensitivity, all my knowledge, I couldn't solve this problem. She did. So we must also acknowledge that our children can solve those problems with best of the mind, sometimes are unable to either notice or even address. Another interesting problem. And all of us, particularly adults, have faced this problem that we are sitting before the computer nowadays for long hours and we don't sit properly. For example, I am bending forward. When I'm bending forward, my back will have pain. I'm not pressing the back as I'm now doing after talking to you. There must be a pressure sensor on the back. If I'm not pressing all of them, the chair will start singing music or a screen will go blank and a message will come. Sit properly, otherwise I will not let you do work. Now look at the distributed nature of creativity from Hardoi, from Gurgaon, from Lucknow, Kulsum Rizvi, Tarun, Sanvi. You know, same idea occurred to these kids at different places because they all saw their parents suffering. So sometimes the problem is right there in front of us. We are not able to solve it. We are not able to notice it. We are suffering. Our lower back is paining and the kids are able to solve this problem. So please remember, never ever have this argument, हम कैसे करेंगे, हम तो छोटे से हैं. अरे भाई आप छोटे हैं तभी तो आपके दिमाग में ये fresh idea आ गया. हम बड़े हैं, हमने तो आदत, हम सीख गए हैं inertia के साथ जीना, inefficiency के साथ जीना. हम सफर कर रहे हैं लेकिन नहीं innovation कर रहे हैं. आप तो करेंगे ना. So this is very important that you should feel. This is another, we organize summer school on inclusive innovation and we give a problem, very simple problem. भाई ladies हैं सिर पे रख के ले जाती हैं ईंटें जब मकान बनते हैं, आपने देखा होगा. 3-4 बच्चों को हमने चैलेंज दिया, यार ऐसा डिवाइस बनाओ कि जो ब्रिक कैरिंग को थोड़ा इजी कर दे, रिस्क लेस, ड्रेजरी कम हो जाए. सिर पे जोर नहीं पड़े, सिर तो भगवान ने सोचने के लिए बनाया था, इसको सिर पे बोझा उठाने के लिए नहीं बनाया था. Kids worked on the many prototypes, 3 बार, 4 बार, 10 बार iteration किया, and they could come out with an interesting design which could be used. So please understand there are problems all around. So let me mention before I close, passion, purpose, process. Passion, purpose, process will result in performance through platforms. Platforms are what we are trying to. Honeybee Network has given one platform, NIScPR has given another platform. Patent Office just mentioned that they are having a platform where they're trying to create awareness among millions of young people in the country. All of these are platforms and designed to empower, engage you for entrepreneurship, for innovation. So this is the triangle of Gyan we had set up in 1997, Grassroots Innovation Augmentation Network, a voluntary organization in collaboration with Gujarat government, and it tries to bring innovation investment enterprise. Many of you may not like to become an entrepreneur yourself. I understand. You may become a scientist, you may become a scholar, you may become a writer, and that's perfectly fine. We need all of these people in our society. So what will happen? You have to tie up with an entrepreneur, or you have to license your innovation to an entrepreneur. And Ranjana, this is where we should help our kids to license these technologies. The technology I just showed you about the walker has been licensed to a company, Viso, and Shalini got under the license fee. She gets royalty every year. So we can encourage students to become entrepreneur by getting license fee as well as a royalty on the sale of their products and ideas. So please don't think that you, if you don't manufacture it yourself, then there is no future. You can be an entrepreneur even by licensing the technology out. And maybe sometime you have to focus on your studies to become a great policymaker, a scholar, engineer, whatever you want to do in your life, architect, anthropologist, whatever. But at the same time, your idea can trigger enterprises than jobs. I will now close by saying that we also need open access databases. While IP is important, but can open access databases, can open access knowledge bits create IP? So there is a database here where we have pulled 200 and or 1,000 engineering project information by 550,000 students over 600, techpedia.in. And there's another one, techpedia.in/patent or gyan.org/patent.php. What does it have? It has a million, Samir ji, aap iska istemal kijiye, a million abundant US patent. Now Indian office also has started after before when I was a member of that committee, and they have been persuaded, but they're not giving a complete database, but they are putting all the every year whatever patents are abundant, they are putting on their website. I would wish that they create a database, or at least we can join hands and create one. Two of my students, Zaigam and Devika, did this. Now this 1 million pieces of intellectual property were not renewed, and therefore they are now open. We can use them. Please go through the database. Similarly, there are other databases available on the site which you can look at, use them. So open source knowledge can help in creation of new IP. Please appreciate that. There is a synergy between both open and closed. Both systems have knowledge, have place in society, and you should not think of only one. In fact, we created a concept of technology commons, where we filed patents, as you have seen, more than 1,200 now. And we said for people to people copying is allowed, people to firm through licensing, a concept of technology commons. We didn't want farmers not to share their knowledge with neighbors, with other communities, because they're all self-employed, they're all poor people. They should let them learn from each other. But when it comes to companies, they cannot take it, they have to license it. So we can think of new models for our own society, which are suitable for us. We can't just go by the one model that Western society has developed for itself. We have to create our own. And this was something that we created for our own. It was legitimized. We also created a fund, GTIAF, at NIF. When I was there, Grassroots Technological Innovation Acquisition Fund. We first used public money to create private right for the inventors, the students. And then we created a fund to acquire these rights in some cases to make them open access. This is all possible. So let me close by saying that there are different kinds of incentives, material, non-material, individual and collective. Don't think only material incentives matter, only money matters. Recognition is what today is being done to Ignish. He is sitting on the dais. There's no money in it, Agnish, but you are getting a recognition. You're sitting where any scholar in the country will feel honored in sitting adjoining and on the adjoining chair of Ranjana, director of NIScPR. It's an honor. It's a non-material incentive. It's an incentive because we believe that we need a portfolio of incentives. So please, my dear kids, don't get focused too much on just money. Money is important. No, who doesn't realize the value of money? But recognition sometimes gives us greater motivation than just the money. And it's not sometimes individual, sometimes collective. And I think we must recognize the value of this. So let me just say that there are two competitions we organize: Ignited Mind, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Ignited Mind Award for NIB.org. In addition to what CSIR is recognizing, we also want to contribute to that process. And for adults, for teachers, for parents, because we don't want them to send their ideas in the name of children. Please, my teachers, friends sitting here, mind this. You are very concerned about bringing your children up, your students up. But the best way of doing that is not putting your ideas in their name. Send your ideas at hpnkorea@nib.org, but let children be. Let them share their ideas. Doesn't matter if they don't get recognition. Samirji mentioned sometime that some of these ideas may have been already implemented, but that shows that you were on the edge. And let me just close by saying all of this, the creativity counts, knowledge matters, innovations transform, and incentives inspire, but not just material incentive. Also non-material incentive, and not just individual incentive, but also collective incentives, collective non-material. So if a school is recognized, Samirji, we should think about, for example, DAV School Jalandhar got 4 awards or 5 awards of Ignite. There are many such schools, I remember, which have sent many entries of these children which got award. So let us recognize some of these schools for sending maximum ideas, or maximum, maybe some of them are winner, but even if they were not winner, at least they sent large number of ideas, and that we should recognize. So we should create public collective recognition, but also individual recognition. Thank you so much. God bless. And if there's any question and there's a time, I'll be happy to answer.
आप सभी
अग्निश को
बच्चे
बोलिए
अगर
थोड़ा सा,
कुछ-
अग्निश अपनी इनोवेशन के बारे में बताए।
हाँ।
उनका पहले करा लीजिए।
Agnish or Agni, I'm sorry, I'm not pronouncing his name right, maybe. बताओ बताओ बच्चे बताओ।
Yes, sir. Sir,
हाँ अग्निश हाँ बोला बताओ बेटे।
Yes, yes.
sir, I wanted to know, as you said about that, along with that, what's the importance of design thinking in this? Like, we need human-centric solutions for problems.
You know, design thinking is nothing but when an unmet need becomes the driver of innovation, people call it design thinking. But this has been the way a long time in our society. And remember, there is no cyclical process of design thinking. You know, many people try to talk about identify the problem, try to do user-based analysis, then do the prototype. There is a zigzag. Sometimes we develop an idea, then we try to prototype. We go back to the user, ask them. They say, no, but this is not what we are looking for. We're looking for something else. And then you come back and rethink. So there is a lot of to and fro between the people who are trying to design solution and the people whose problem we are trying to solve. So basically, when an unmet need becomes the driver, to me, that is what popularly now is called a design thinking, but there is nothing very great mystery about it. Anybody, all of you are potential inventors. Does it help?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Speak about your innovation also. आपका क्या innovation है आप बताओ सर को.
अपनी
Yes.
बताओ.
Yes, sir. So it was in the last summer that I was in the lockdown. I was just sipping my coffee from a Tetra Pak. That's when I realized a problem with that. It's that in a Tetra Pak, because there's only one slit in that, so it creates a low pressure inside the container and there's a high pressure outside, because of which it's really hard to drink any beverage from that. As a result of which I designed improvised Tetra Pak, which has two slits in that, and if we keep both of them open, because of which there's no pressure difference after that, and it's literally like sipping something from a glass. So it reduces food wastage.
Very nice. This is a very good idea. And I don't know whether we got this idea from you, but we also gave a recognition for this. So I'm just trying to see, did you apply for Ignited Mind also?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, because I remember this example and we had given, you are from which school?
Birla Vidya Niketan.
Correct. So I'm just trying to look for, this is a very interesting idea which you mentioned just now. And this shows that in everyday life, you can see the problems and try to solve them. Very good example. Have you discussed, develop any other innovation after that?
Yes, sir. I also have some other ideas. One of that is I identified there is a great difference in the supply and demand of various crops in India. For example, the supply of wheat is much more than the demand of wheat in India, because of which a lot of it is wasted. So I designed an artificial intelligence model using random forest regressor, which uses temperature, pH of the soil, humidity, and rainfall of the area as factors, and accordingly recommends a crop to grow to the farmer, and also tells the amount of fertilizers needed.
Very
For
interesting.
a
This will
month.
require artificial intelligence. This will require a lot of data to be integrated. But it's a very good thought, very thoughtful that you're thinking about farmers and their problems. I really appreciate your concern and your ability to see the need for developing a kind of an export system, which will integrate these variables and generate recommendations. Very good idea. Though a lot of work has been done, but still a lot of work needs to be done. Anybody else has any comment or from the audience, if they want something, then I'll be happy to.
Yes.
Please come forward.
You can ask sir. Sir, sir ने बताया ना आपको आपके पास ideas हैं और sir ने कैसे help किया है उन ideas को intellectual property rights दिलाने के लिए. Sir is with Honeybee Networks, Srishti and Gyan, and is helping our young and budding innovators free of cost. सर ने बताया ना अभी हमारे पास
हम
on
लोग
board
प्रोटोटाइप
है.
भी बनवाते हैं, हम लोग बड़े बच्चों को इन्वॉल्व करते हैं, कई बार उनसे प्रोटोटाइप बनवाते हैं, डिजाइनर्स को इन्वॉल्व करते हैं, उनसे प्रोटोटाइप बनवाते हैं. बहुत सारे बच्चे प्रोटोटाइप नहीं बना पाते हैं, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है इसमें. आप ये मत कभी भी डोंट मेक feasibility the enemy of desirability. एक प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करनी है और आप नहीं कर सकते सॉल्व, इसका मतलब थोड़ी कि सॉल्व नहीं करना है इसको. तो डोंट कंस्ट्रेन योरसेल्फ. मैं कैसे बनाऊंगा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, मैं कैसे बनाऊंगी, कोई चक्कर नहीं है, आप भेजो ना अपना आइडिया. फिर हम लोगों की जिम्मेदारी है, ये सब लोग जो बैठे ना टेबल के चारों तरफ, हम सबकी जिम्मेदारी है कि आपके आइडियाज को हम प्रोटोटाइप में कन्वर्ट करवाएं, उनको लिंक करेंगे डिजाइनर से, लिंक करेंगे स्टूडेंट से, लिंक करेंगे इनक्यूबेटर से, और कोशिश करेंगे कि उसमें अगर वो फिजिबल है, अच्छा है, जरूरत है समाज को उसकी, तो उसको इम्प्लीमेंट किया जाए.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I can take leave now.
Sir, we wish that you be there for whole of the sessions. But we know that you are a bit engaged in other commitments. So thank you very much, sir, for being
Professor
here.
Gupta, I would also like to say, it's
Please.
so good to hear it from you, but next time you have to be physically present.
No,
Yes,
I would love to be.
आप virtually इतना motivate कर देते हैं, and I think ये हमें और आगे बढ़ाना है, the school students and all, and
आप
so
मुझे
good
थोड़ा
to
टाइम
see.
ज्यादा दे दीजिएगा. Give me a little more advance notice and I'll be with you. I promise.
Yes, sir. Thank you
Yes.
so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless. Thank you. All the best. All the success to all the clear people, young people sitting today, and wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, sir. I now invite Mr. Agnish Moitra, CSIR Innovation Awardee from Birla Vidya Niketan School, to give us presentation on the topic Improvised Tetra Pak.
World Intellectual Property Day and improvised Tetra Pak, an easy way to reduce food waste. About me. Hello, I'm Agnish Moitra of Birla Vidya Niketan. I'm a member of the Computer Science and Social Outreach Club at school. My hobbies are chess, reading books, programming, and piano. You can contact, I'd be happy to reach you out. You can contact me in any of the undersigned addresses. Design thinking. Design thinking is the basic framework of innovation in which we need to first identify a problem which is faced by the society, find what's the importance of the problem, ideate and make prototype, and this loop repeats on and on. A journey of making improvised Tetra Pak using design thinking. It was during the lockdown when I was reading a book and sipping coffee. That's when I found the problem. Here you can see a normal Tetra Pak, because of which it creates a low pressure inside and high pressure outside. Thus, one can barely drink the beverage inside. As a result of which, that's when I had my eureka moment. But my initial response wasn't quite good. I thought of making using a Starbucks coffee cup or a thermos like this. Can someone tell what's the problem with this? the problem with these are that, first of all, Starbucks cup cost around 100 rupees, which is more than the actual cost that the beverage costs. And this sounds quite impractical. And after many improvisation, these are the principles which I learned from this. Any intelligent fool can make things bigger and more complicated, but it takes a touch of a genius to take things in the opposite direction. And as Mr. Edison said, I haven't failed. I just found out 10,000 ways which didn't work. And after many improvisation, this is what the final prototype looked like. Here you can see there are two slits instead of one, because of which the pressure is same as the outside, and there's no pressure difference. Thus, it's literally like sipping something from a glass. And I then made the prototype on Blender, and you could also use any other softwares. And these are the national goals which it aligns itself with. The Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav goals, SDG 9, industrial innovation and infrastructure, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, and life below water. How should you start innovating? Join clubs in order to identify problems faced by the masses. Specialize in a few things, but generalize in everything. One can find innovation even from the simplest things on earth. Don't miss out any opportunity. Who knows, it might lead you to the next $1 million idea. Story time. You know Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, he literally took calligraphy in his college. And you might wonder, what's the point of taking calligraphy when he later started Apple? Here's why. You see, this is the interface that Apple had in those days, and this is the one which most of the other competitors use. This is the Microsoft's initial interface. And because of this dramatic difference in the quality of the softwares that Apple had, soon Apple became one of the biggest market leaders in the Silicon Valley. Thank you. By this, I conclude my presentation.
Can you tell all of us, आपने जो टेट्रा पैक बनाया है उससे आपने SDG goals को relate किया है, that you are addressing those goals. तो उसमें like how can you say कि इस टेट्रा पैक से जैसे लाइफ बिलो वाटर है उसको क्या बेनिफिट हुआ, वो गोल कैसे एड्रेस हुआ, like आप रिलेट करके बताओ इससे कि किस तरीके से वो रिलेट कर रहा है इन गोल्स को ना.
Yes, ma'am. For life below water, we can see that food is wasted. So when food is wasted, it's generally dumped somewhere, which later finds its way into the water and pollute water bodies. And this also leads to responsible consumption and production, because this decreases the amount of wastage of food beverages. Thus, this leads to sustainable cities and communities, promoting innovation, industry, and infrastructure.
Any questions to Agnish? Have you understood the innovation of Agnish? समझ में आ रहा है सबको? तो ये छोटा सा इनोवेशन है. हम टेट्रा पैक सभी रोज फ्रूटी पीते हैं और इतने सारे जूस पीते हैं टेट्रा पैक में, और उसमें जो लास्ट ड्रॉप रह जाता है, कई बार क्या करते हैं हम उसको खोल खोल के पीते हैं, है ना, तो उसको ग्लास में डाल के पीते हैं, निकालने की कोशिश करते हैं. लेकिन अग्निश थॉट ऑफ कि इसको हम कैसे उसी में से एक दूसरा होल किया है. कोई बहुत बड़ा मतलब बहुत बड़ा एक्स्ट्रा एफर्ट नहीं किया है, सिंपल प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व किया है. सो दिस इज इनोवेशन, राइट? Okay, thank you so much, Agnish. Any questions, sir?
Thank you, Agnish, for your excellent presentation. We now have Dr. Sujit Bhattacharya, Chief Scientist, CSIR NIScPR, to address the gathering with a few words on innovation, IP, and entrepreneurship. Dr. Sujit Bhattacharya is the Dean and Advisor of Policy Research, CSIR NIScPR. Dr. Bhattacharya specializes in the areas of science, technology, and innovation policy studies, scientometrics, and intellectual property rights. He is a prolific researcher in these areas and published more than 100 articles in the form of journals, book chapters, and books. He has been a member of several national and international bodies and expert member of DST Science Policy. He has been the principal coordinator of International Network CallNet and is the editor of Journal of Scientometric Research. With these words, I request Dr. Sujit Bhattacharya to address the gathering and conclude the inaugural session. Yeah, sorry. And also felicitate Mr. Agnish Moitra with a memento.
Madam.
Thank you, ma'am. I welcome, sir.
So Agnish, I was very happy first to really see this, and I recollect I went to Sweden many years back in the Lund University, and where this Tetra Pak was invented, and surrounding that Tetra Pak, this whole university got so rich, and even those entrepreneurs, they were young students from the research, and didn't not only they solved a technical problem, they also solved a design of carrying these type of mills and the other things, because they have these type of what you call triangular design. So this how the transportation was done. So solving many types of problem of storage, of preservation. And so you see that innovation, how it leads to, I'm so happy to see that. And I am really grateful to all of you and to director and all of you to invite me to present this. The students, all of you will be very happy to know that even our logo of NISpR has been designed by the students. And it's a competition where 3 of the students came, and then we had very much difficulty to choose these logos. So you see that the copyright is with us, but the awards were given to the students. So you see that how the student involvement has been with our institute at different points of time. And that is why we are so happy that all of you are here. While just sitting here, and I scribbled some few points to speak to you, and I would like to be as brief as possible. What I see is that you can all see that how the world is changing and how India is changing back. Not very far back, we could not have even imagined, we did not about imagined how we could communicate through mobile or internet. And now we are seeing various types of things, what we call these devices getting connected to the internet. And when you look back all into the simple innovations of right from a paper clip to a post-it, you will find that there were these simple ideas that had people have thought of. There are numerous stories when you look inside them. Any new technologies, any new innovation, you'll find so many stories of young researchers, students who have had ideas and who worked on those ideas. And you already have an example of Anjan who has shown you how they have done that, differently challenged the present understanding and delivered new ways which one could not imagine, in a sense. Even a small incremental change makes a big difference. As you can see, it's not that you have to invent a huge technological innovation. One common thing that one can discern from them, that you can see that, right, that curiosity, asking a question, not afraid of failure. And the resources, you will look at it, the resources, not only the money resources, the other resources were also limited. But then they were not afraid of that looking, because they were driven by a very firm conviction that, so one cannot make there is no course which can say that how you become an innovator or an entrepreneur. But this is something which we build up when we get exposed. Even we are getting exposed to all of you. Each failure is a learning for us. But also within this innovation, you will find inside various forms of intellectual property, from trademark, copyright, patent. Once you open your computer or any devices, there is a long list of which we don't read actually, but all those long list shows that which are these, who have invented these, who has done this copyright on it, which our Dr. Kanika will tell you about IPR's post lunch. The As you were listening to Professor Anil Gupta, what we will do with, I would say that when you look at the statistics of patent coming from universities and young students from the country is really few when you compare outside. But on the other hand, India, I would say that I don't know. I'm sure in near future we will have these utility models into this. India would have been, I think, the world's first in terms of statistics, in the way we have developed these type of jugaad, incremental innovation across the country, and diverse and change the ways of life of small communities, various different ways. So many of you can also do that. It is not that you have to, you can change the life, and that is what innovation is. That is, and they come from your fundamental principles of your what you are studying of that. And that simple fundamental principles which you can change and look at it. We are moving towards new challenges, as you see that, of air pollution, on water and on. And so many government efforts have come. But still you see that the air pollution in Delhi every year, and if the cities are there. So it is there where we look for you to look at your new ideas, new ways. Because in a sense, we must admit we are failing. Our mindsets are not able to come to a new solutions. But here we look upon you to look at these new solutions. And the solutions are coming. You see that India is now the third largest startup in the world. And how it has happened within a few years, with the government push, with the government direction, and then the people across from the colleges, university, even the school students are coming with the startups. So there are very exciting possibilities ahead of you. But at the same time, when I look back, when I look at the different countries, I see that there are also various dedicated ways in which I'm sure the students are also, the teachers are also here. We have these government push of Atal Tinkering Labs. These Atal Tinkering Labs are, it is not only these sophisticated computers and all will be there, but it is also way of tinkering with your old computers, old mobile sets and all. And what I see there is that they have developed these modules which you can see also inside iSense and all internationally, where they have looked at a problem. They have looked at a problem. I saw that around 1,700 students were involved and 31 schools were involved in USA to understand from the STEM principles how they can learn about sensors. So on one hand, learning and linking it with this learning of developing sensors, and they had a problem to understand, to solve, to measure the water quality of that river, of Hudson Bay River. And the students at different points of time, they were developing these sensors at different types of modules and all that. So driven by a problem also, I would say to the teachers who are here that they can throw up the challenging problems. The students during these types of labs, during their summer vacation, can look into these problems, look into this and connect your learning of your STEM principles and all, and bring out these devices. Very interesting how they have developed these sensors of water quality and all, and they are now getting implemented. And many of them are in fact now going and filing patents and other trademark also into that. With this, I end, and we are so happy all of us that you are here with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your thoughts. And with these, we now conclude the inaugural session, and we will break for tea for 20 minutes. And we invite all of you for high tea arranged in lounge. Thank you.